Morning, morning. What are we doing today? What are we doing today? Looking good. Finally some actual printing. What do you mean finally? Give me a break, okay? I'm repairing a print job here today. Not quite sure if I'll be able to show you what's happening here. Dei-chan, one of our young printers, she did a batch of prints for us, and one of the problems with doing this printing is that when the prints are still wet, quite often things look smooth and nice and all okay, but once you dry them out, sometimes defects appear. And that's what's been the case with this job. She just did this job for us. I'm not sure if you can see it. It really isn't going to show. This is wet paper. In the sky, there's lots of speckle here. She hasn't got a good enough deep color, and she didn't use quite enough pressure on the back. And again, because they're wet, they're okay. Because the water blurs out and blends, they sort of look okay. But when we dried these, she dried them the other day and handed them in to me for correction. And it was clear they weren't so good. There was speckle in all the sky at the top. And we can fix that. Rather than throw away her work and have her start again, I can come in here and just, with a bit more power than she was able to do, I can print a better color on the top. I don't know if we can show it. Might show. Do you see it? There's a roughness. Do you see it here? Where am I forgetting? The speckledy color here. We call goma zuri. It looks like goma. In Japanese, that's sesame seeds. And it's much more apparent when they're dry. This would, if these were dry, you'd see they're just an awful texture in the sky, which we don't want. So what I did last night, she turned these in to me a couple of days ago for I don't know, for passing through packing and shipping. But they're not good enough. So I made them wet last night. And I'll be spending today's stream doing an extra version on the top. That's the after. Again, it's hard to say, and we won't be able to get these 100%. Because part of that speckle, there's lighter and darker, lighter and darker. And even though I'm putting another color on top, there's still going to be that lighter and darker underneath it. There is one way to totally, absolutely fix it. And that's to use a much, much, much darker color on top. But that changes the whole design. Hiroshi Yoshida talked about that in his book. He talked about every now and then you'd get, when you were printing, there'd be a failure of texture or something. And he says the way to fix this in most cases is to transform it into a night scene. And he was sort of semi-joking but semi-not joking. If things aren't working, just keep layering color on top and on top and on top. And turn it into a night scene. This is already a semi-night scene, but maybe that's what we should do. Just put some real dark pigment on top. Totally cover up those blotches. Anyway, we'll give this a try. We'll save it as well as we can. She's doing really well, you know, Dei-chan. She's doing really nicely, but she doesn't have quite a lot of experience yet. Oh, that'll be all right. This will be all right. So it is. So we've darkened it quite a bit, but at least now it's smooth and presentable. This is a design by Kawase Hasui, and it would have been issued post-war, pre-war. I don't remember. I don't know exactly. It's called Ikaruga no Ame, Rain at Ikaruga. And the pagoda you see in the background, this is Nara, in Nara Prefecture. I think that's the pagoda from Horyuji Temple. And there's, when Watanabe published these years ago. They really weren't very careful. In fact, I should get an image here. If somebody can find this for me. If you go to ukiyo-e.org, ukiyo-e.org, and if you look in the keywords there, type in the word hasui. Maybe I should just get it. It's a bit difficult to describe. Hang on a sec. Yeah, we have no time change here. If you guys have changed time, it's your fault. We haven't changed anything here at this end. We don't change time zones here in Japan. A bit too much paste. I have to be careful about that. Is that the one? Let me have a look here. Yeah, that's it. That's published by Watanabe Company. Look at that sky. Jesus. Don't want to talk about it. Yeah, that version published by Watanabe, ne? This is Rei-chan. She's done this. Look at it. So much nicer than the one by the original company. Just needed a bit more tighter, firmer pressure than she was able to deliver. So also, this is a bit green cast, I think. What are we doing on the other camera here? This is a bit more of the natural color here. The color balance on this camera is better. Not sure once they're dried if we're still going to have a touch of speckle or not. One way to find out is to just print this and then dry them. She's doing really well, you know. A couple of years of training and she's able to do this already. This is about 9 colors overlaid. Very complex. Very difficult to get the thing done with even tones. When you don't have enough experience, you're printing one, you're printing two. Under this fence, for example, the brown goes under the fence, something goes over the fence. There's so many layers. You never really know how deep the color is going to be when you get to the end of it. The papers are out of the freezer. Yes, Rei-chan's paper and Suga-san's paper are all out of the freezer. Thank you for the reminder. Always thank you for the reminder, because many times I do forget. Thank you again. This print's in our catalog. It's under the title, I forget the title, just a minute. Pagoda in Rain. It's in our Mokuhankan catalog. I forget the stock number. It's in there under Pagoda in Rain. It's one of our gift prints. And there's an interesting question about this print as to whether or not we're actually allowed to use this. And the designer is Kawase Hasui. He died in 1957. In Japan for many, many years, all the time I've been here, longer, the copyright law states that copyright exists for 50 years after death. He died in 1957, which puts his copyright expiry at 2007. And we published this print in whatever, some couple of years after that. But recently the laws have changed, or are in the process of changing. There was this thing called the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And as part of joining it, this trade deal, some of the things that the countries were negotiating when the EU countries asked that Japan modify its copyright laws to match the EU laws. And in EU, it's death plus 70. In Japan, it's death plus 50. So Japan passed the laws, or got the laws ready to pass the laws, extending their copyright to death plus 70. And then the Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations collapsed. America pulled out, Trump pulled out of it, or whatever, blah, 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 and it all collapsed. So I don't know if the new Japanese law has taken effect or not. Japan prepared new laws to match the EU laws for the purpose of joining the TPP. The TPP collapsed, but it could be that the law that they prepared for this has actually become law in Japan. Long story short, the point is copyright law in Japan may now be death plus 70 rather than death plus 50. And if that's the case, Hasui-san's work would still be protected by copyright because he died in 1957. So they would come clear in the year 2027, or January 1st on the year after that. So, am I allowed to publish this? I actually don't know. I was allowed to publish it to make the investment, cutting the blocks, making the print, getting it all ready at the time I did so, because it was clear and in the public domain. But now it's possible that the work has slipped out of the public domain and back into private protection? I just don't know. Whether the law is grandfathered in or not. If it's not grandfathered, then there's a 20-year gap of people who get no copyright protection. I don't know how that works. They've got to protect people like me who made an investment in doing this based on following the law. Anyway, it might be a moot point because Hasui had a daughter, but she had no kids. He has no heirs. She's gone now too. Hasui died and his daughters died. So there's nobody there to complain. Even if I am technically in violation, I don't know. There's nobody there to complain. So I think we're okay. Anniversary of his death, November 7th. No, I didn't know that. There's nothing to do with the anniversary here. We're just making this because it's come up in our schedule. We're out of stock, so we're making more. Is Suga-san going to start printing the gift print today? No, she's going to be one day late because she booked off 2 days ago because she was sick. She had a bad cold a couple of days ago, so her schedule on the printing her own job is 1 day off, which is actually a good job because I haven't finished the test printing yet either, so that's my job tonight. I'm on party duty again today. We're short-staffed in the shop again today. So I'm going to be on party duty down there. Anyway, good morning, Jacques. Yeah, my personal view on it, Death Plus 70 is too long. That's absolutely my personal view. But I don't have quite a neutral take on this because I'm a person who makes reproductions based on other people's work rather than have my own work protected. So I'm not a fair judge of this. I think Death Plus 70 is way too long. If you can't get compensated for your work within the first few years, decades, whatever, of making it, then I don't think it's worth protecting, you know. Death Plus 70 means like if I had made something when I was in my 20s or something, it's still under copyright, I'm still good. If I live to be 80 like my, 90 like my father, that means I get 24 more years. And then 70 years after that. So only 100 years from now for something I made when I was 20. That's too long. That's not even your grandchildren. That's your grandchildren's grandchildren. That's pointless. There's no way copyright should last that long. I understand about protecting investments. You make an investment in making something, you got to get your money back, you got to be protected for it. But a century? No way. The people who create the thing, and to some extent their children, I guess, could be benefiting from it. But beyond that, I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever. Has your shop been seeing more traffic? By shop, you mean the store downstairs. We're seeing lots of traffic, but I don't know how to compare with the baseline. Our shop traffic is hugely up, but there's a number of reasons for that. One is we've opened on the first floor rather than the second floor. So of course more people are coming in all the time. Second is the airlines. There's a movie about us which is featuring in the airline seatback systems the past few months, and that's bringing in tons of people. Another thing that's happening is YouTube. YouTube just is the gift that keeps on giving to us. All kinds of people come in the shop and say YouTube recommended our videos to them. Twitch is helping. Every now and then Reddit talks about us. That helps. Just all over the place. Social media in general. So yeah, shop visits are up, but it's organic, I think. It's organic. We don't pay for ads. We don't try and specifically boost things. We just do our stuff, talk about it on the internet, and you guys take care of the rest. I'm happy with this, but the proof will be once it's dry, because there could be a bit of speckle still left once it's dry. It's really, really, really hard to tell when it's wet. That's what fooled her. Raychan, she thought she was doing okay on this, and she thought she was good with it. But once it was dry, boom, she realized it wasn't so cool. Somebody came here from a Reddit fail thread, I guess, okay. Keep watching, you'll see me fail. We fail big time sometimes. What's going to be happening this morning? Today's Monday, so we should have a bunch of people coming. Cameron should be here soon, I think. Asuga-san will be here, Day-chan will be here. She probably won't arrive till after the stream is over. That's what I heard. It's live stream highlights rather than fail. It's okay. I'm cool with it. Even if it was a live stream fail thread, I'm cool with that. We do what we do. When we fall down, we fall down. It's okay. I'm not sure if we've had any real fails on the stream. I don't know. What counts as a live stream fail for us? When I don't print very well? I don't know. It's still not great, you can still see there's a speckle tone. We can't fix this 100%. Whatever, somebody's bad-mouthing Reddit here. I know Reddit actually has been really, really good to me. Same as YouTube, A bunch of these social media platforms. And when I started YouTube, somebody, I forget who it was, a friend of mine with experience, he said, Dave, don't go there. Don't go to YouTube. I think the expression he used was, YouTube comments are the cesspool of the internet. Something like this. I forget the exact phrase. And we were worried, you're a nice guy, you're a clean guy, don't go to YouTube. It's just trouble, trouble, trouble. And they said the same thing about Reddit. But my experience about both of those platforms, YouTube and Reddit, has been everybody, 99.99999% of the people. They're polite, they're respectful. I have no problem at all with those platforms. The number of comments I've had to delete from YouTube in a period of 15 years is about like 2 or 3. Someone's asking about sitting. How is that? I'm sitting on the floor, but I'm not actually sitting on the floor. Traditional printers sat directly on the floor, cross-legged, and I did for the first 15 years or so, or whatever, while I was printmaking here in Japan. But it's pointless if your knees get racked and everything else. So what we do now, let me push this back. The floor is down there. We've raised the platform. I mean, there's a subfloor here, so we've cut a hole in the floor so my feet go down into the subfloor. and we've raised it up a little bit. Anyway, point being, I'm safe. I'm down here. I'm just sitting. When you come into the room and look at us, we all look like we're sitting on the floor, but our feet go down into a safe hole. So, and the girls, I don't use it, but the girls have got little pads down there. Heat their feet, their delicate little feet. Yeah, the vertical floor space wasted in this building is insane. It's almost, well, not half, but it's a good 1/3 of the vertical height of the building is wasted here. The ceiling is dropped in, the floor is raised up. There's a huge amount of space that's wasted. And it's not like it's full of heating ducts or anything. There's no central heating in the building at all. Shoe lady, I don't know. I should have opened the window, shouldn't I? It's gone. It's too late now. She's gone, I'm sure, for this morning. You'll have your chances with the shoe lady through most of next week, because next week for me is going to be a carving week. The first print of next year's subscription series. I've got to get going on it. Oh, look, this one is a nice one. I shouldn't say that because they should all be exactly the same, but she's been a bit inconsistent here. Halfway. Not a big deck here. I think she's got 30 sheets or 35 sheets in here, so that was halfway. We've got half to go. So it might be a bit of a shorter stream this morning because I don't have anything else prepared. Once this is done, I'm done. If all goes well, there should be some interesting show and tell on the next stream. Tomorrow's Tuesday, so no stream tomorrow. Eh? We don't have anything tomorrow. It's my day off. But there'll be a stream Wednesday morning. And if all goes well, there should be some interesting show and tell. Because last night auction, there was a bunch of fun auctions last night. There was a bunch of fun auctions. Some guy, whatever, there's these sets of Adachi prints, the Hiroshiki reproductions. We like to get them in sets. But what this guy had done is put them up one by one by one by one by one. So 16 prints in a row. I got to bid on every one. And of course, what happens, you get 15 of them ready, and the last one, somebody pushed it up. And I suspect that's the person who put the auction out or a friend of his. He knows I've got 15 of these prints locked up now. I'm the winning bidder. There's one left to complete the set. So he calls a friend of his and says, hey, let's go. Bid on this one. Push it up. Because he knows the buyer is now really, really interested in getting that 16th print to finish the set. So it started to climb. And I really suspect, I don't know, funny business there. What he doesn't know is I've already got that print. We've got extra copies of it, so I let it go. And it'll be interesting to see. I'll probably get an email this morning. That other winning bidder that pushed me too high decided to cancel. Do you really want this print? We'll see how it goes. There's a fair amount of funny business here on Yahoo Auctions. They're not as strict with this as they should be. To a large extent, it's young kids doing this. And they're not always as ethical as they should be. So you got to be careful with this stuff. It's not like we're mixing tons of pigment this morning either, you see. Just a little tiny bit. We've just got 15 prints here to go, so. Continue the show and tell of yesterday. I don't even know where those prints are. They're downstairs now. But tomorrow's show and tell. I mean tomorrow, Wednesday. I was trying to tidy up the auction I got last night. The same guy put a bunch of stuff up. He put up these 16 prints, of which he got 15. They're no special. We've seen that kind of stuff before. But what he also had, he had an old album from the Taisho era. Taisho is the era before Showa. So this is like 1920 or 23 or 25 or something like this. And there's a really interesting thing happened with the print publishing back in the 1920s. This is the era then the middle class in Japan is really starting to grow and come together. There was no such thing as the middle class as we know it back in the Edo time. It was a feudal society. There were samurai, merchants, peasants, blah, 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 blah. But once they opened up and whatever, they started building a society similar shape to what we know now, with the middle class in it. And there was, you know, whatever. There were merchants, doctors, school teachers, blah, 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 blah. And as those men, as we came into the 20th century, there was a huge interest among those people in Japanese history, in learning about Japanese culture. Because back in the feudal era, there was no communication of such things. People knew about their daily life, whatever was in front of them. There was no study in Japanese history. There was no knowledge of where they had come from or where they had been, because the government of the day, back in when it was a closed country, disallowed discussion of anything remotely related to politics or governance or whatever. So there was a huge hunger in the middle class, you know, the educated people who had gone to school and whatever. There was a huge hunger to learn about things Japanese. Their bookstores and stuff were full of books about European culture, because that was the days of the big opening and Japan was trying to learn from Germany, blah, 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 blah. But there was a huge hunger for knowledge about Japan. And in the world of arts, a bunch of publishers stepped up to that, and they started making reproductions of the old Japanese ukiyo-e, and they did it as subscriptions. I mean, I'm not the guy who invented the subscription model for woodblock prints. And those prints, were made in an era where there were still a bajillion competent carvers and printers all over this country. I mean, these days, there are very few people left with any kind of skills that can make these woodblock prints. You know, we're talking about a couple of dozen people. But back then, there were hundreds, literally hundreds, of people who could carve and print competently. So the publishers used that resource to make these woodblock print reproductions, going back in time, showing Japanese history of art done in woodblock prints, because there was still no good color printing, offset printing in the sense that we know it yet. Anyway, long story short, I keep saying the same thing. There's a bunch of, in the Taisho era, a bunch of very, very, very nice prints were published by subscription, showing the history of Japanese printmaking. I've got hundreds of them at home. They are really, really, really well done. They're beautiful. It's going to be really one of the mainstays of our little exhibition space once we finally get that set up. But last night on Yahoo Auction, one of these albums came up. It's an album in that the guy who bought the prints had pasted them by himself into a little folding accordion album. bad point number one. Bad point number two, the accordion album was made with total junk paper, which is now foxing and moldy and decaying. The prints were made on good strong washi. And it'll be my job when we get the album tomorrow now that I think about it, that might make a good stream. When I get the album here, one of the streams next week, if I have nothing else maybe to show you, it might be, we're going to start repairing that album. And I might do it where I do the paper sizing. You know, I've got the hot water tub with the glue. That's the place we use to fix these prints. I'll chop the album up. I'll put the sheets one by one into the warm water bath. We'll take them off the backing and flatten and dry them. And that might make a fun stream. Although I have mixed feelings about that. If I start showing how to repair prints on stream, people are going to think, oh, I can do that myself. They will try doing it, and you may lose some prints. So I have a bit of mixed feelings about that. We know what we're doing. We know which prints can go in the water, which prints can't go in the water because the pigments will blur. We have a ton of experience here. And if I just show a stream saying, hey, it's okay, put Japanese prints in the bath, it's all right, I'll get a bit of blowback from here and there on the internet about that. So we may actually not do that. I have to think about that for a while. I did actually get that blowback years ago, 20 years more, whatever. I put a page up on my old woodblock.com encyclopedia. I put up a page about something, about, I think I said don't try this at home or something, whatever. But I got a real blowback. A couple of people wrote to me, one from a San Francisco museum there and one from a museum in London. They said, please don't publish this information. It's not because they were trying to be secret. Their experience was that when amateurs try this thing, they end up destroying the work. So they didn't want to put anything on the internet that encouraged amateurs to try restoring their own work. And it's really mixed feelings, isn't it? If I can get their point, if amateurs try it, they will destroy prints. But then they destroy prints because they don't know what they're doing. So should I put out the information to tell them what to do? Both things are true, It's going to cause more prints to get destroyed and it would cause some prints to be saved. So I don't know. I really don't know. We can look at one of these prints, whatever the print I just made. This is a good example. Rei-chan dried these prints, brought them to me yesterday. So yesterday I knew these are no good. We have to moisten them or reprint. So last night I took these prints, I slathered them with water, put them back in my pack here, because I knew that these pigments, of course, are all safe, and the washi is safe. So I know this particular print, I could put this in the bathtub of warm water. We could float it around for half an hour. Pick it out carefully, dry it, it'll be totally okay. I know that, but there are lots of prints you can't do that with. The colors will just dissolve and float away in the water. We know which is which. We got new faces here. I'm sorry, perhaps the guys in the stream will I don't know, explain a bit of what's going on here. I'm not actually printing a gradation today. Somebody sees talking about gradation. I'm printing a flat tone on the sky. There's a gradation has preceded me. We're printing a flat tone here on the sky to try and deepen it. I will show before and after. This is before. There is a gradation already in place. And the reason we're doing this is because, again, we explained it before, it's very difficult to see in the camera here. It's a bit of a speckled printing. It's not nicely printed. It's too speckled. And we're going to try and make it a bit smoother. I'm surprised somebody hasn't asked about the paper here. This is a thin, very slippery paper. It's got some kind of silicone cover, and the purpose is simply to protect the back of the washi. The washi is really strong, but this one is a thin, delicate washi, and it's been printed already a half a dozen times. So it's a bit soft and delicate. So the paper here is to protect the back surface of the washi. So it's deepened it up to a good rich level. The gradation is still there. I can't destroy the gradation by printing a flat color on top of it. I think we're okay with these now. It's really not sure. Won't know until I've dried them off. That's what I asked a while ago. Somebody asked me about that. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. If my head's down for a couple of minutes, this chat disappears, you know. So I'm sorry if I've missed questions. You know. Either repeat them or whatever. Yeah, it's similar to the cookie paper, but it's much thinner. The cookie baking paper usually is quite thin, and sometimes they're really weak. You try rubbing over the back of it, it just gets destroyed right away. So it's similar to that. It's prepared for us by the same guy who makes our barons, Goto-san. Let me pop up a link here. Hang on a second. Let me find that. If I can do this without crashing the stream. Hang on a sec. Here we are. Here's the auction we were talking about, the one I got last night. It's a Japanese page, of course, but you can see the pictures. This is the album I was talking about. And if you look at the picture, you can see the album paper itself is totally destroyed. It's foxed, it's moldy, but the prints themselves, I think, are mostly okay. We'll see when I get it. And I may have paid too much for it, I don't know. It all depends how many sheets are no good. There's 47 prints in the album, and if most of them are okay, then we'll be good to go on our investment. But if there's a lot of them that are spoiled, then I'm in trouble. I've wasted my money. We'll see. Shunga? No, 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 no. Did I send you the wrong link? I don't think so. I sent you the link to the auction I won last night. There should be no Shunga there. We don't buy Shunga for the shop here because we don't really have any way to display it. We don't want to display it. I don't see any Shunga there. There's nothing bad. These are just just wood buck prints. Related auctions. Well, don't click anything else. I mean, just look at the auction itself. What am I seeing here? Scroll down, scroll down. I don't even see any related auctions, but I'm logged into Yahoo. No, the dark splotch is a bad one, clearly. There's one there. The seller was trying to be, Shunga was the first item on the webpage. I don't see that at all, but interesting. But I'm not logged in. I mean, I'm logged in. The auction listing has a series of 10 photographs. They're small. You click them and it shows a larger one for each one. Like the woman with a splotch on her face. That's a defect, of course. The splotch on her face is interesting. What that is one of the other... The splotch on her face will come from the other side. The album closes like this, and sometimes pigments on one side will transfer to the other. There's some naked ankles. Yeah. I hear some sound over there. Is it a rat? Yeah, sorry, I wouldn't link to Shunga here. Hi. Oh, Sugi-san, good morning. Look who's here. I brought your paper out. So good. How you doing? Come and say hello to the gang here.
Hi.
They're here. If you come, yeah. It's how low I am. I'm sitting on the floor. She's standing up. So. Again, there's still confusion about who these are. This is Suga-san. She prints here. She makes heroes prints for us. This is not the lady who makes tea. Sometimes Suga-san has a large voice, ooh-wee, but the other one, Ishikawa-san, who makes tea, has the cover up the microphone voice. So there's a bit of confusion here between who these are. So, Ohayo. So. そう、これは今年のセリーズの最後の作品ですね。そう。
ああ、面白い。
今日の仕事は前の妖怪のものの終わりですか？
終わってコウノトリ。
はい。あ、そうか。それから次のものの示し。
示しね。
そうか。まだ決まってないですね。ですがだから今日でも残念今日スタッフが少ない。
あ、そっか。
今日もスタッフが少ないだからパーティーやらないとダメですね。そう。だから今夜かなお店閉まってからここでちょっと決まって。
わかりました。
じゃあ何今日示す予定？
今日示してやるのはスイカもつくかなあれ。
OK。
デビットさんそれやってるんですか？
レイちゃんのものは悪くはない。そう悪くはないんですが、もう今示したままは OK ですが乾かすと見えますか？すごい乾かすとすごい粒々多いゴムが多いです。だからもう一回
つけてやってるんだ。
そうでも大丈夫かどうか。
顔はまだわかんない。
だからまだでもちょっと深くなるとあまり見えないかな。
ジャンプもねまたつけると難しい。それ綺麗じゃないですか。
OK かな。ですが乾かすともっと
変わってくるかな。ねその湿った時と乾いてる時もね。そう難しい。
どうせ OK ですが、彼女はもう2、3回使う水が入れすぎとか、示しですね。そうなんだよね。Trucks outside, construction is starting, and across the street, one of the noodle restaurants. What did I do with this just now? Is this the group I haven't done yet? That's the group I haven't done. Getting mixed up here. This is the group I've done, right? Hi. Put them back in their own place just a minute. One of the noodle restaurants across the street, it's all sheathed in scaffolding. They're bringing it down and putting up a new building. And then next door to us, Italian restaurant next door. Oh no, not Italian restaurant. It's changed. It's now Kaki Oyster Shack. They're going to do a new roof. The roof leaks. So that construction starts. And I think today the scaffolding is coming up on the building. And we're really hoping they don't too much, you know, they don't block the street too much. Then, you know, they've already come to us and apologized in advance for the disruption there's going to be over the next few weeks. It's going to take them a month. But it really can't be helped when you build your buildings right to the property line, both sides, right to the property line on the front. And when you do renovations and you have to put scaffolding around them, it can't be helped. They come up into the public space. And I think scaffolding is going up today, and it might really block our entrance quite a bit. And they're going to be up for a month on this. No, the corn dogs, they haven't opened yet. That's the restaurant that there was a Korean snack food place that opened for 3 days, then closed. It was then empty for a couple of months, and now the Korean corn dog, or Korean hot dog, whatever they call themselves, they've taken over the place, but they're not ready yet. They haven't opened yet. So you didn't just miss them because they were closed, you missed them because they haven't opened for business yet. They're still building out the kitchen. And the last step I heard, the buzz on the street here, they just got the permission for the gas license. And the gas will be coming sometimes a couple of days, so it'll be open soon. And we're worried about that Korean place because it's a chain store. Their main one is in Korea. But they... Not my kid. Mine's gone home. My granddaughter's gone home. I know the Korean hot dog place, their main one here in Tokyo was over in Shin-Okubo, the Koreatown there. And I saw a video for it on NHK. And there's lineups around the block, around the block, around the block. So they're opening all over town to try and take advantage of their new popularity. And all of us here on the street are really worried. If they open, they're 2 doors down from me. And the lineups are going to be all over the place, blocking traffic on the street, blocking the sidewalks. And there's 2 ways it could go. They could be really considerate and careful of us, getting guardmen and flagmen and controlling it, or they could be just who gives a crap and just letting it go. And I don't have high hopes for this one. So this could be real disruption. And if it is, we're going to gang up on them. The whole group of us here, the Merchants Association, we'll try and gang up on them and say, look, you guys, you got to fix this. You know. So we'll see how it goes. There's nothing we can do in advance. And it could be that they're a kind of a hit and run kind of business. These snack shops are like that. They're really, really popular for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and then bang, nobody wants them anymore. They've moved on to something else. So if that's the case, if it's a hit and run business, they won't care about us at all. They want to get in there, get their lineup, sell their hot dogs, and just leave. So we'll see. I shouldn't make judgment yet, but I'm not really optimistic about it. Send the rats. I'm sure they've got enough of their own. Every building here, these old buildings. I'm sure they've got more than enough rats of their own. Restaurants. I would not want to be running a restaurant in this area. We have rats, but they don't come running around in the food and stuff, you know, whatever. If you're a restaurant, I don't know how you handle it. 今日から隣の工事が始まりますね。かき小屋の屋上。なんちゅうの、雨が。
雨漏り？
そうです。
そうなんだ。
いや、結構大きい工事、1ヶ月かかる。
そんなに？
そうです。
だからギゴギゴ
わからない。ガガガガとか、ただ静かな塗るとかわからない。今日からなんていうの、スキャフォルディング、なんて言いますか日本語で。建物の外に。
足場だ。
足場ですか。はいはい。
そう。
だからしても邪魔、上はうるさいか。The table, that's an interesting idea. The rats with the note. Be careful, rats are everywhere in this street. That reminds me, I saw a great photo. I got to show you this. It's nothing to do with the rats, but this is fantastic. I might have showed this to you a year ago because when I first saw it. Let me see if I can find this. It's a photograph I saw. Let me just find it first. Just a minute. Add media, add image. I'm going to find it. Hang on, just bear with me for a second. This is fun. This is so much fun. Not sure if I'm going to be able to find it. It's just got a random name for the title. Hang on a sec. Just give me a minute to find this. Give me a second. There it is. I got it. Okay, we're going to open this. It's Japanese. You're not going to be able to read it. Hang on a sec. Okay. This is a sign. It's on a store window a little ways down the street. And it needs some extra. Suge-san, have you seen this? This is so cool. この裏の道、駅の近いですから、自転車が置いてあったんですね。本当に自転車の駐輪場ありますが、めんどくさいですね。ロックスの屋上にあります。
上なんだ。
そうです。めんどくさいね。だから自転車、違う。人の店の前にいつも自転車が置いてあったんですけど、彼が店の窓にこの看板入れたんです。Isn't that the best thing you've ever heard? It's so much fun. It's so. It is so much fun. Okay, the deal is this. When you, this guy is a genius. This is Einstein at work. So much fun. Okay. Tight back streets. We're near the station. People come to the station, leave their bicycles. There's a real bicycle parking lot, but it's up on the 5th floor of the department store. You got to take your bicycle, wheel it in, get in the special elevator, go up top, put your bike on the 5th floor, then come back down and go to the station. Nobody wants to do this. So they put their bikes all over the place. There's a little shop in the back street. I don't even know what shop it was. I think it's one of the kimono rental places. I don't even remember. There's bicycles in the front. People can't get in because the bike riders just don't give a crap. They just dump their bikes and run to the station. So this genius, he put this big sign in the front of his shop that says, abandoned bicycle station. Leave your bikes here if you want them to be abandoned, and anybody, please take whatever bicycle you see here. It's just a stroke of genius. 大きさ？はい。そう。Bicycle abandoned station, and it's inside the window. It's just so cool. I split a gut when I saw this. It's just so classic. So, what would you say in English? Free bikes here, you know. I should take it down. I mean, we're watching printing here. Where's my mouse? Yeah, abandoned bikes available, please take one. Something like this. You'd have to find a way to do it. In Japanese, it's concise, it's clear, and it's short. Cameron-san, good morning, good morning, good morning. Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing?
Yeah.
Good weekend with your wife back in town?
Yeah.
And the kid back in town?
Yes.
Right. You remember what it's like to be a dad again?
I do.
You had what, 3 weeks off? They were gone?
Yep. Yeah, about 3 weeks. Yeah. Good morning.
For those of you who don't remember, this is Cameron.
Hope they haven't all forgotten me. It's only been 2 days.
2 days, 3. Yeah, you've been here once or twice since you came back. We're trying to fix this 100 chance print. So I say fix, that sounds awful. I know. She handed it in. I know. One of the things with these overlaid colors is when the paper's wet, it sort of looks okay.
Yeah.
It looks fine. If this was the one before fixing, it looks all right.
Yeah.
But when you dry it, the speckle, she has really got too much speckle. I don't know if you can see it on this one again because it's still wet. Yeah. Look at it. You can see this texture in the sky. It's way, way, way too speckled. And they were really more vivid and apparent when it was dry. So she handed him in to me yesterday. You'll see the note in your note about payday today.
Okay,
you know.
yeah.
So we're trying to fix it here.
Okay.
And we're doing it with the Hiroshi Yoshida way. You know, when you have trouble with prints, turn them into a night scene.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Just darkening it up.
Yeah.
And I can't fix it completely because there's still a difference, light and dark, in those speckles, but I can move the whole thing up a level. So we'll see how it goes after I dry them off.
See how they come out.
So you'll be paying all these guys today, right? I think I got all the information to you last night in the mail.
Great.
I didn't get one. The I Choose You print from Tsushima-san.
Yeah.
I counted them this morning, and that's on my desk downstairs.
Okay, great.
Other than that, they shall be
That's
here.
here, and that's easy to get in time before the end of the bank hours. So. Great. Thanks. For
Well, you've paid all the normal stuff, just left for the
just
printers.
left
Okay.
the printers. To count
We just had a good laugh before you got here. I forget what reminded me about it. I can't remember, but that sign in the back street around there near the station, the guy was having trouble with the bicycles in front of his shop. Did I show you that sign? No. And it's usually the thing, just bikes all in front of his shop.
Yeah.
The bicycle parking on the rocks, it's up on the roof.
Yeah.
So to get there, you want to go shopping in the department store, you got to go to the special elevator in the back, up to the 5th floor, put your bike on the top and come back down, and nobody does it. It's empty space up there. So this guy used to shop nearby. He was having bikes all in front of his shop.
Yeah.
Nobody could get in. So he posted this sign inside his front window. Einstein. No, Einstein. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So.
That is hilarious. Hans bicycles are free to use. Go ahead. Take one.
Take a bicycle. You know, That's great. So.
That is wonderful. Well, I guess I can go replace my stolen one.
Did you? What happened? Nothing yet, right?
No, a friend from church actually said he had an extra one, so I've got one. I just have to go pick it up.
But your own hasn't made its way home yet.
No, not yet.
You know what's going to happen? Of course, you buy a new one and then
Immediately, I'll hear back. Oh well. That's hilarious.
Oh, what does it say? So we did explain this a few minutes ago. The sign said, leave your unwanted bicycles here, and anybody, please pick up bikes you find here. The point being to stop people from leaving their bikes there.
Yeah,
so.
That's great.
John Becker with the camera thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Cool. I'll
John,
go take a look.
I hope there's no bad feeling. I'm not trying to abandon you on this. It's just been
Wild.
difficult to find time for that kind of project. So having Cameron step in.
I'll go take a look at that. So I head down and do anything up here.
Oh, the other thing too with John, you know, if there's rental involved, we'll happily pay for that. You know, we'll pay for the rental fee. You know, it's going to be fun for us. It'll be a bit of PR for us. So we'll pay for it, John. You know, whatever. You know, Skytree and whatever. I was joking about it yesterday that John's coming over. He's going to do this, and we're going to try and get a shot of Mokuhankan from space or nearby, whatever.
All the way from space. I don't know why this thing's talking to me.
You're lonely, are you?
Yeah.
You set this for. So, John, we'll cover the expenses, absolutely. So. Yeah, plot twist too. Cameron's the one who wrote that sign. So you need a bike to put this sign up. So.
Lots of options.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay.
Wait, we're almost done here. I've just got, what is it? I've got one, two, 3 sheets here left. That's all I've got left. So the stream will be ending a bit early. Just got 3 sheets to finish this. Yeah, this is the wisdom over the bikes. This is what I did in Vancouver. Just get an ugly bike.
Yeah.
Just bizarre. Get an ugly bike and then spray paint it with some bizarre pattern, and nobody will want to steal it because it's ugly and also because it's instantly identifiable. So,
Yes, yeah.
and they can't sell it. It's a standard on a pattern. But the problem is when everybody's doing that, then it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. I've heard, or I've seen someone, he covered his whole bike in electrical tape, so it was just black all the way around, and then painted it weird colors. Just the same thing, making it look hideous, but it was actually a really nice bike underneath all of that.
This is funny. I can't believe somebody in Japan would steal a bike. All bikes get stolen in Japan, period, all the time. It's middle school students, middle school boys.
Question, you know any cheap places in Japan that sell houses? Not in Tokyo, but if you go out of the city, they're
free for the taking. Yeah.
Giving them away.
Free for the taking. So.
Okutama, right by Ome.
Yeah.
They've got a program that they're giving away houses just to get people to go live in their city because it's down to 5,000 people or something like that.
I think the deal is you got to sign in and live there, and after living there for whatever it is, 2 years or whatever, not even that long, it becomes yours. You know. So. The problem is there's no work in those places, which is why it's become depopulated, and there's maybe no hospital or no elementary school or whatever. So of course it's all a vicious cycle that goes down, down, down.
Yeah.
But if you're fairly self-contained, if you've got an internet type job, because they have great internet connections even in the country.
Yeah. If you don't want to live in the city, then there's lots of options.
Yeah. And you got to be a bit of a DIY, obviously, because you're looking at an older house and stuff like that. I saw, though, there was a newspaper story about that a while ago. It was a follow-up on some of these towns that have had this program in place for quite a while to get young families. And the statistics weren't good. I don't know the numbers. Like they got whatever, 20. I don't know the number. They got X young families to try this. And more than half of them have given up and come out of there.
They moved out. Wow.
They moved out because there's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing in these places.
Yeah.
It was very pretty. Well, you were there. I mean, you lived in that kind of environment.
I lived in that kind of city, yes,
you didn't do it because they gave you money, but you were there, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful, and it was quiet, and it was beautiful. And then what else can I say? Quiet and beautiful.
Yep.
And convenient is not the word that comes to mind.
No. I love to shock Japanese people and say our nearest
convenience store
was a 25-minute drive away.
So
that was.
I mean, that's hard. I mean,
that's our closest one. The
top of Mount Fuji has more convenience access to
I think so. The grocery store that we had ran a free shuttle twice a day from our neighborhood to the grocery store.
To get the grandmas.
To get all the grandmas and grandpas who couldn't drive.
Well, fair enough.
And they were one of, I guess, 2 grocery stores in the city, but they offered the free shuttle, so they got the business.
But the business, grandma comes in, spends a half an hour, opens her purse, and spends 25 cents. You know, I mean, that's the other side of it. You know, getting the business of the grandmas when they bought their 2 onigiri and whatever.
Yep.
I think about 1 sheet left, and I'm done here for the day. That would never happen here in America. It says. I don't know what they were talking
Giving
about.
away houses, I think, is when that one came.
Are there depopulated areas, or I don't know. No, I don't.
And they just become ghost towns there. I don't know who owns the property or what happens to them. As I drive an hour to work every day, this is sounding appealing to me.
Cameron, auctions last night. The timing was not good because this is payday.
Yep.
I bought nearly 200 prints last night. But don't panic. I don't mean 200 big major prints. A couple of them were albums, like 47 fan prints and stuff like that.
Nice.
It wasn't so bad. Now, they took a flyer on one. It was an album of 47 prints. I was just trying to show these guys.
Yeah.
It's 47 prints, and the album itself is heavily foxed. Yeah. But I think, I know those prints in that series. They're made on really good quality paper. And I think I can float the prints off and get them saved. It's 47, and I paid, I think, about $400 for it, I think. So. Wow. But it's funny, I was showing them the link. I clicked the Yahoo auction link to yesterday's finished link, and right away they came back, don't show us Shunga, dirty pictures, blah, blah. So I guess on the Yahoo page, there's links to other auctions or something. No. But I don't see them myself here. But, We won't save that one. It's still speckled. You can see the speckle here in the sky. Look at that. You can see it? This is going to be not a keeper. There's no way I can cover that except by making it jet black. So this one will be a no-go. The very last one in the stack. So. How's that? The last print I show is no good. Yeah, there'd be a nice show and tell, I guess. And what I was thinking about for the show and tell, on that album, I have to get those off the album really quickly because the album is totally Fox.
Yeah.
And the prints need to be taken off. And we were chatting about this. For example, maybe next Wednesday at the sizing station, fill the bucket with hot water, cut the album up, put them in one by one in the hot water, float them off, and press them, and do it on the stream.
Yeah.
But the downside is I'm showing people dangerous stuff, because if they try it at home, they're going to put some print. Oh, Dave said it's okay. They're going to put the print in water, and all the pigments will dissolve and float off. Because I know which ones to do, and which ones are not to do. And last time I tried this, I talked to my encyclopedia, whatever, like 15 years ago, and John Fiorillo in San Francisco got really upset. Don't do this. Don't show these people what to do. This is our knowledge. Don't show it. And half of it was trying to be secretive, and half of it was the common sense. It's the don't do this at home. And the more you say, don't try this at home.
Everyone wants to try it out.
Yeah, people want to try it at home. Here, hold my beer. Whatever. Yeah. We all know how it works. So if I do show it, prints will be destroyed. But then the other side of it, people will learn stuff about how not to destroy prints. Or whatever. So I'm of two minds. I might do that on Wednesday. I might not do that Wednesday. I'll see which way the wind is blowing. So. Yeah, a good teaching lesson for the ones who want to learn.
Risky for
things. Yeah, jump in and try it. So. And I've destroyed my own share of prints, actually, in getting this knowledge and getting this experience. How do I know that particular red floats off in the water?
I've seen it.
I've seen it happen, so. Okay, guys, I got to get out of here. It's a little bit early, but I've got to get downstairs. I am the party host this morning. We're low staff again today. I was hoping I could get up here and finish this test printing on this thing, because Suicide starts printing Wednesday morning.
Oh, wow.
But I'm good. I'm done. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. It's been fun chatting with you this morning. Not very interesting or special work, but something I had to do this morning so we can get this girl get paid. Yeah, without doing this, we can't pay her, and it's payday today, so she's doing okay. To be able to come this far. I don't know. We'll see how many I've been able to save. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, cool. I'm browsing. Let's go. Bye, guys. Thank you very much. See you later. Let's put that sign back in. Free bicycles here for the taking. Okay. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks very much. So.